Alright, here we go, turn 1, we get triple fish, and I don't combine them together. I'm not sure if I've had this happen before on the channel, but if I get triple fish, I don't go for turn 1 tier 2, because it seems like a horrible waste of stats. Is that the only one that I don't go for it? I can't really think of any others off the top of my head. But we're going to keep these fish and try and buff up some of the units that we actually care about for this particular build. Now the build I have in mind is to play a summon team with Weevil as the summon support unit. Now of course that doesn't make much sense at all, but we're going to do it regardless. And we get both Weevil and Pheasant in the shop, which are both going to be very important. Now Weevil's ability is designed to work with the food pets, so it gives a temporary attack when a pet eats food. Now a lot of the time its ability is going to be used in the shop, so if you just buy any shop food, the Weevil is going to give an extra temporary stat boost, as we do a little bit of clever combining here to maximize the stat swap value with the frog. And I think I guess we could take the dove, just sell the fish, but maybe I'm going to try and greed for level 3 fish here. Okay, we end up getting a rat. And this is an odd scenario because this particular build involves 3 tier 1s and 2s. So I'm actually going to go for a triple frog swap here in the early turns, which is why I bought the rat. With the incredible base stat line for rat, it makes it a perfect frog swap donor. And luckily we get Shima and Naga in the shop space. So we're going to bring it in and then swap the rat with the Shima. Probably not going to be able to see the combo work this turn, but we can get this spider just to give us a decent chance of winning. So the idea here is that we have a couple of summons from the Shima and Naga. It only has 2 summons max. And then the Pheasant will give the strawberry to the summoned pet, and the Weevil will buff it. So essentially giving it attack just like it was a turkey. An extremely poor quality turkey, but a turkey nonetheless. I guess the closer analogy is going to be the horse. But horse has unlimited triggers, whereas the Weevil only has 2, I think it is, or maybe it's 3. But we use the Shima and Naga tech to get the level 2 very quickly. For some reason I think I've got enough gold to buy another pet, but I don't. And of course we don't have any strawberries now because we keep using them up. So we don't get any summons this turn, but it's all gonna we're gonna start getting things going pretty soon. Once we don't need to use the pheasant triggers in shop anymore. Now, one of the difficulties here is, like I mentioned already, as you can see here, Weevil will use its ability in shop. So it ends up actually using triggers up in the shop phase, and therefore it's not going to be able to buff the summons when they actually appear. So in order to deal with that, we're going to have to look for Gingerbread Man. So if you put Gingerbread Man on a pet that has triggers, if you use all the triggers up in the shop, the Gingerbread Man level up will give you the triggers back. So it's incredibly useful for this type of build. In fact, it wouldn't really work without it because it's very difficult to go through the whole game without buying any food at all, especially stuff like chocolate and then equipment in the late game. So I guess I'm looking here for something else to pill to get another Shima and Naga copy. And we do get Betafish, although I think at this point Betafish is different. Okay, it looks like I'm just going to take the platypus for now. And we will actually get to see some summoning in the following turn. Pink Robin plus Leech. I'm not sure if this is the first time I've actually seen someone else playing this. I'll link my video on that topic in the description. Pretty awkward combo, but it is really nice to see someone actually going for it in arena. Yeah, it looks like I'm just going to bring in a Flamingo to pill. And that will give us enough Shima and Naga levels to get to level 3. And of course, when we combine them together, they will also get the trigger reset due to the level up. Looks like I'm going to take Ambrosia to protect. Our summon provider And again, the pheasant triggers have been used up, but we did find the gingerbread man to complete the setup. Now, of course, this team is never going to have a chance if we just have Weevil and Shima and Aga as our summoning engine. We're going to need something else strong enough to help carry this squad to the finish line. And I had a bunch of different stuff in the pack. I think here I'm just going to buy Sell Questing Beast so that the Shima and Aga keeps getting buffed throughout the rest of the game. And then we'll just take Nyala for now. Again, the pheasant triggers get used up. Kind of a hybrid looking summon team on the other side of the board. Funny to see the flying fish moving to the front to become a feint for the poison dart frog, but we do still win. And soon we need to just abandon the buy selling and like settle on a final team so that we're not having this kind of perennial problem of the pheasant running out of triggers. Of course, we could also put gingerbread on the pheasant, but in most of the runs I had of this, the pheasant would end up, as the biggest unit on the team. In this particular example, it's not that big, but in most runs it was the biggest unit, and it would end up with Melon just to try and give us a chance for this to actually work. But again, we waste all the triggers there. You can probably tell that this was late in the recording process for this particular build, that I was getting increasingly desperate, and so having the combo working on all of the early turns wasn't really a huge priority. We just want to make sure that it works by the end. And we end up facing off against an actual summon team with a proper tier 1 summon support unit. So I think the beluga here, the idea is I'm just going to pill it once I get something inside that I want to keep permanently. Yeah, I'm not going to take the Weevil here because we would have to go all the way up to level 3 Weevil. And I don't think it's really worth it for the tiny amount of extra attack we're going to get. I mean, that's the kind of thing that you say and then it's famous last words because, somewhere in a battle you needed 1 extra attack and you ended up losing. But I think I was pretty committed to getting Baycat as one of these summons. Just for the random factor, it is very interesting when you get, the perfect spawns for a particular opponent. And here, the level 2 Sunfish on an odd turn does huge damage to their squad and pushes us a bit closer. Now it looks like this is finally going to be a turn where we didn't use any of the pheasant triggers. So we should get one from the Baycat summon. And then I can put popcorn or something else on the Baycat to make sure that we get the full value. Actually, of course it's not actually necessary. We only need 1 summon from the Baycat because we're going to continue getting additional summons from the Shima and Aga. But there you can see that the Weevil gets used in shop and it will regain its triggers on the next in the next battle. Level 2 Swordfish instant kills the Shima and Aga, which is incredibly unfortunate, but level 3 Sunfish on turn 13 does massive damage to this behemoth squad. They actually end up getting Kappa from the random transformation. Of course, if you're really wanting to try and play this properly, it would make a lot more sense to actually build, to take some stronger summon pets. You don't have to play Shima and Aga. You can just play Pheasant with summons. You could also have Seagull, I guess, instead. It's just Pheasant is just a bit more reliable than Seagull because we don't really care about the perk that's being given. The main point is that it's food being fed to the bet that's been summoned. We lose to Metabrusque with a double Abomination. And looks like this time, since the Pheasant isn't as big as it was in most of my runs, I'm just going to give it the Steak instead. Matchman with the almost all Easter egg team, and gets triple Monty summoned at start of battle because of the devastation from Sunfish. But there, the attack from the I think the attack there from the Weevil did actually matter. I'm not sure if we would have won anyway, but it was still funny to see. So now we just need one more win. We have 2 hearts. But I was in this position many, many times. I got to 9 wins a few times with this team, plenty of 8 wins as well. And the fact that we were carrying the double tier 1 and tier 2 really started to cause a problem the later the games went. And here's level 3 hatching chick with almost 50-50 Cobra, so you know that's game over as soon as we see it. I don't think it would have made any difference even if we had the sunfish go off, because they had pita bread on 2 of their units, so they don't even lose a single pet. When will level 3 hatching chick be fixed? I don't know. Did actually get double Weevil there, but I think it's better just to keep rolling for some stronger food. That 3 health there could save the pheasant from a leopard snipe. And it is actually leopard on the next team. They don't hit the pheasant, and the sunfish clears out the entire backline. The 8 attack there did matter in terms of knocking the leopard out, although I think maybe we were still going to win regardless. So yeah, kind of a hybrid summon team in the end, but I guess point is made that you can use Weevil as summon support if you really, really want to. And then now we're going to look at some additional clips. So here's Not a Game Devlog getting matched with this extremely funny visitor Monty team, which I think was posted in the Discord. And it's actually a draw. This setup is really interesting with the Fire Ant passing the attack to the Belugas. I hope that Not a Game Devlog manages to get a good enough run in the end to make a video out of this. If not, maybe I'll end up ripping it off. But he actually ends up matching me on turn 17. So we get to see this super rare scenario where my team wins twice in 2 different final battles. I'm sure I must have had that before at some point, but yeah, it's pretty rare to see that kind of thing. And then we've got a bunch of other random clips as well, just good rounds from other games that ended up losing. This one against Wombat with the whale shark. There were a lot of battles where having Ambrosia on the backline unit really did help quite a bit. And does the extra attack there help knock out the Nurikabe? Maybe it didn't have any triggers left. But this looks like we're done because the Ai and the Rhino are going to trigger, but they're both level 1. And again, I think the Ambrosia is vitally important as we beat Disregard by 1 HP. And then I think this is the last round I'm going to show from this game. I think it did go 1 round further than this. But this is another team, you look at the opposing team, it looks like it's a non-starter. But you can see why I wanted to have Melon on the pheasant so many times. And then the Ambrosia comes in clutch yet again on the Shima Inaga. And yeah, I just lost the next battle, I think. And then here we face up against this double level 2 Stego team plus Leopard. The Leopard gets swallowed by the Goblin Shark and then knocked out by Shima Inaga. And then it's a 1 HP loss. You would think we had no chance there, but yeah, in the end it was wafer thin margins. And then here's Rhine Shadow Golden, another German Shepherd team. Pretty rare to see German Shepherd given how common it is to face big stats. You'd think German Shepherd would be wildly popular, but it's not. And I think, yeah, we barely lose. I wonder if we could have had a better summon from the Baycat there, it would have actually helped us. But we might as well watch the remainder of that particular run. Because the next battle, we face up with opposing level 3 Pheasant. Now, it's very rare in Customs to have Pheasant versus Pheasant on turn 16. And as soon as you see the lineup, you know you're going to lose, but it is pretty funny still. To be honest, this kind of a team is not that common at all. Even though, Snake is pretty strong, and this Racket Tail plus Velociraptor combo is good as well. You don't really see it very often. And it's also a rare example of someone actually playing Brussels sprout on second position snake to prevent it being moved by eggplant. So big brain stuff there. And then the final battle from this run, we face this team which looks definitely beatable. Yeah, we don't quite get enough attack there. I think if the pheasant had one more strawberry there, we would have knocked that unit out. And maybe this battle could have been different, but in the end we barely lose. So that one was pretty difficult to take. And then lastly here we've got a submission from the Discord. This is a weekly, another weekly that had pheasant in it. And here the lightning rod ends up getting the velociraptor from the red panda. So there was no velociraptor in the pack, but actually ends up facing a very similar looking tardigrade racket tail team in the next battle. And also you can see one heart in the bottom left hand corner, so it's do or die at this point, and still a very long way to go because only 4 trophies turn 12. But if we fast forward a bit and we'll scroll down, you can see all of the turns, and then we'll watch the final battle. Very, very low statted team. I guess this weekly probably didn't have much in the way of scaling. The butterfly on the opposing team doesn't have anything worth copying. And since they don't have any disruption, the combo is going to go off completely uninterrupted, and the maximum value is going to be extracted from the Velociraptor. Double pheasant on turn 17. Also very nice to see someone playing Egyptian Vulture plus Eagle. That's very uncommon, and it's a pretty comfy win in the end.